All right, let's get into it. Today, we are talking about something called Agentic FinOps. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another buzzword, right? But stick with me, because this one is a pretty radical shift in how we think about cloud finance. We're moving from just watching costs to actually letting AI take the wheel.
So, think about this for a second. It's a huge paradox, isn't it? We're living in this incredible age of automation. We've got AI that can write poetry, it can drive a car through a city, and yet inside some of the most advanced tech companies on the planet, you've literally got a team of stressed-out engineers just staring at a dashboard, watching the company's money just burn.
And this quote, man, it just nails the problem perfectly. The cloud gave every single one of us unbelievable power, right on demand. But what we didn't realize is that it also gave us an unbelievable ability to waste money at a scale we have just never ever seen before. And that's really the dirty secret we're going to unpack today.
Okay, let's talk about the dashboard of doom. We've all seen it. You know the one. It's full of blinking red lights and these charts that only ever seem to go up and to the right. It's supposed to give you visibility, but let's be honest, most of the time it just gives you anxiety.
So, despite all of these fancy tools, all these charts and alerts, the average company, get this, still wastes around 30% of its total cloud spend. 30%! So that's the billion-dollar question, right? If we can see the problem so clearly, why on earth can't we fix it?
Well, it's because seeing isn't doing. For years, we had this idea that if we just showed an engineer a Slack message saying, hey, this thing is expensive, that would be enough. But we forgot about the single biggest bottleneck in the entire system.
And that bottleneck, well, it's us. It's people. It's the delay between a machine spotting an issue and a human finally getting around to fixing it. We call this human latency.
Just think about it for a minute. A cloud container, right? It might only exist for a few minutes. But for a human to actually act, they have to stop what they're doing, switch their entire context, investigate the alert, find the right person to ask for permission, and then finally run a command. Best case scenario, that's an hour. Worst case, it's a ticket that sits in a backlog for 2 weeks.
In the high-speed world of the cloud, our human reaction time is basically infinite. The money is spent and gone long before we can even decide what to do. And this crazy mismatch has led to an evolution in how we've tried, and mostly failed, to solve this whole problem.
So first we had the scripted era. Think simple, turn everything off at 8 p.m. on Friday kind of jobs. These were dumb, they had no context, and they usually just ended up making engineers working late really, really angry. Then came the recommendation era. We got smarter tools that gave us endless suggestions, which just created this massive alert fatigue where nobody acted on anything. And that brings us to today and a fundamentally new approach.
This is where we get to the Agentic Era. So instead of just telling humans what to do, we're finally building machines that can do it themselves.
Agentic FinOps is all about moving from this passive monitoring to truly autonomous execution. We're giving AI agents the keys, maybe even the company credit card, and empowering them to make decisions and take action at machine speed. The difference isn't just about speed, it's about intelligence.
Okay, now look at this slide, because this is where it gets really interesting. It's all about context. A simple script sees a metric, 0% CPU, and makes a pretty dumb decision. But an agent sees the whole story. It connects the dots between the CPU usage, the project status over in Jira, and the code history in GitHub. It reasons that the resource is abandoned, and then it acts safely. It takes a backup, it terminates the server, and it notifies the team. Totally different game.
So how does this actually work under the hood? I promise it's not some black box magic AI. It's actually a pretty well-defined software architecture with 4 key parts.
So first up, you've got the sensor. Think of it as the agent's eyes and ears. It's pulling in data not just from billing APIs, but also from business tools like Jira, GitHub, even PagerDuty, so it knows, for example, that a big launch is coming. Then you have the brain, which is usually a large language model. It uses all that data to reason, step by step. The actuator is the hands. It uses standard tools like Terraform to actually make the change. And maybe most importantly, you have the guardrails. These are the agent's conscience. They're hard-coded rules like never ever touch production on Black Friday that the AI is physically unable to break.
And what's really clever here is that the agent's brain is also optimizing its own costs. You see, LLMs charge you per token, which is like a unit of text. So the agent uses techniques like prompt condensation to make its questions to the LLM smaller and cheaper. And it uses output caching to remember answers to common questions. So it's a FinOps agent that actually practices FinOps on itself. Kind of cool, right?
Now, you don't just hand over full control on day one. Of course not. You build trust over time,
in phases. You start with the agent as a janitor, letting it clean up obvious digital trash that has zero business value. Then you graduate it to a right-sizer, where the agent analyzes an active server but opens a pull request for a human to approve the change. And finally, for the really advanced teams, you get the market trader, an agent that can autonomously move workloads to cheaper regions to capitalize on pricing changes in real time.
Okay, theory is great, but let's look at a real-world case study that shows the absolutely staggering impact this can have. This is the story of the zombie GPU cluster. So a data science team spins up this massive cluster of GPUs to train an AI model. These things are basically the Ferraris of the cloud, and they were costing the company $650 every single hour. So the training job finished late on a Friday night. The engineer went home, totally forgot to shut it down. That cluster sat completely idle for 54 hours all weekend. By Monday morning, that one single mistake had cost the company over $35,000. That's the price of a brand new car or a junior engineer's salary, just burned in one weekend. Now, let's just replay that exact same scenario, but with an agent. At 3:05 a.m., just 5 minutes after the job finishes, the agent sees the utilization drop to 0. But it doesn't just act blindly, it investigates. It checks the job queue. It's empty. It checks for users. None. It confirms the action is within its guardrails, takes a final snapshot, just in case, and then terminates the cluster. The entire investigation and action took 20 minutes. It saved $35,000 while everyone was asleep.
So this level of automation, it obviously raises a big question. What happens to the humans on the FinOps team? Are they out of a job? And the answer is no, not at all. In fact, their job just gets way more interesting.
You go from being the cloud nag, the person chasing people down with spreadsheets, to being an agent architect. Instead of begging people to clean up their messes, you're designing the autonomous systems that prevent messes from happening in the first place. Your focus shifts away from Excel and towards engineering, building the bots that manage the cloud.
In the end, Agentic FinOps is about accepting a pretty simple truth. We tried for a decade to make humans care about pennies in the cloud, and frankly, it just didn't work. The complexity and the speed are just beyond human scale. It's time to stop trying to catch bullets with our hands. It's time to let the machines manage the machines.